When authors like yourself are writing their book, it's really common to let other priorities pop in front of and get ahead of writing and actually finishing your book. Another thing I see is when it comes time to launch and market your book, it's a mad dash to the launch date. Why? Well, really, because we all have limited time. And if you're a business owner, it's really hard to ignore client projects and projects that are bringing you current revenue right now. Well, on today's episode, I'm going to go over how you can launch your book with limited time by looking for those everyday opportunities that will take 10 minutes or less and to turn it into the ultimate business card to build your business and your legacy. If you are ready to get your book out of your head and into people's hands, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. This is Your Path to Publish. I'm your host, Zach Christensen. For the past decade, our team has guided authors just like you to find the best path to publish your book, get people excited to buy it even before it launches, and to turn it into the ultimate business card to build your business and your legacy. If you are ready to get your book out of your head and into people's hands, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. The other night, my wife and I sat down at the end of the day to watch a quick 20-minute sitcom before bed. As I was looking on my Apple TV, I realized we have 7 streaming services, which seems kind of ridiculous. It's a lot of content to pick from. Now, these streaming services, as we all know, are getting more and more expensive. On about half of the ones that we have access to, we're on the lowest tier, so ads are playing at the beginning and middle and throughout the episode. Rewind to the 90s and 2000s, right? But after about a month of watching these shows on one of the streaming services, my wife and I are getting pretty good at predicting which ads are going to show up. Can you relate to that? And after about a month of seeing these ads probably close to 20 times, I could fully remember the more detailed content of the ad. So now when I think of credit cards, Capital One immediately comes to mind. So my point is, I saw those repeated over and over. And for you as an author, when you're launching your book launch happens over time with several touch points with your ideal reader to get their attention. So let's jump into how you can have those increased touch points over your whole author journey with your ideal readers, especially when you have limited time. Now, when this is the case, you need to think of it from this perspective that it's all about leverage. And it's leveraging your opportunities each day, the interactions that you have, and being aware of what you can do to act on for when you're ready to more fully engage in launching your book. So I'm going to go over 6 different ideas that are related and somewhat of a process of what you can do to launch your book with this limited time. So the first one is knowing your audience and where they hang out. If you don't know this, this is a key foundational piece. You need to know your audience, what their challenge is, and how you're solving for it. And you need to go on the journey of knowing where they hang out. And that may take some time. But as you learn and know where they're hanging out, that's where you want to be. Next is starting early. If you are early in the process, and the very first phase of the author journey that I look at is called book development. And this is where you're writing, you're reviewing your manuscript, maybe getting beta reader feedback, but really getting everything out of your head onto paper to get to that first draft of your manuscript. Now, marketing in this phase is very casual and natural because when people ask you what you're working on, you can tell them, I'm writing a book. And then inevitably, they want to know more about your book and what kind of book you're working on. This is the opportunity here to give a high-level view about your book and what you hope it accomplishes and what problem it solves for. And then if they want to know more questions, continue having the conversation with them. Next is have an answer for how people can help. When you're engaging with conversations with people about your book, they may ask, more often than not, how they can help and support you. Have a clear answer for them. Depending on where you're at in your author journey, you could ask them to be a beta reviewer. You could ask them to help share the book when the time launches. You can ask them to be a part of a launch team should you choose that strategy. But whatever it is, be clear on what you want them to do and how they can help. And make sure you're focusing on the quality of those connections when you have those individual times, because that's what's going to be memorable for people when it is time to ask for their help. 4, this one's really obvious, but keep a list of those who offer to help. Make sure on your phone that you have a quick spot where you can jot their names down. If you're having a conversation online, have a spreadsheet and put their name down and that they offered and what you said they could do. This list will help save you a lot of headache when it's getting close to your launch time, that you'll already have this going. Number 5 is share your journey. This is where social media more comes into play. So whatever platform you prefer to work on and talk to people on, engage on with, talk about your book journey, talk about your writing journey and how things are going. Share the challenges and the successes that you have along the way. And this is a way to get people's attention on it without asking them to go buy your book. You can talk about a story that you put in, the joy that you've had when giving this to beta readers, early feedback that you're doing. There's always something that you can find to share. And then 6 is show gratitude. Thank everybody for their participation in helping you along your author journey. At times, being an author can feel like a very solo endeavor. And when you show gratitude to those who have helped you along the way, because there are many people who will be helping you either directly or indirectly, by showing gratitude, that will help them feel that you value them and what they've done. And it's another touch point, another reminder that you are an author and that you have a book out there to sell, and as well as additional expertise that you can offer them. So overall, do a little bit each day, and this compounds over time. Don't beat yourself up if you miss a day. Be consistent. And one of the main reasons that you're doing all of this is it's not just because of your book. You're getting in the habit of building your brand and communicating with people and being able to communicate what you provide with value. And this experience will help make you a better communicator, a better author, and better at knowing how you can add value and help people from the experience and expertise that you've worked so hard to gain. If you want to know about marketing your book, check out our class on the ultimate checklist to marketing your book at juxtabook.com. I'm grateful for all of you who have chosen to listen and spend your valuable time listening today. And if you know of somebody who would benefit, please share this. And if you haven't already, please give us a rating and review of our show. On the next episode, I'll be talking about the 7 ways to leverage your book to boost your business. Now let's jump into answering your submitted questions. If you have a question about a recent episode you'd like to submit, visit juxtabook.com/your path to publish and click the appropriate button to leave your question.
Hey, I've been involved in a couple books, but I'm curious to know if you have a good set of criteria on when a person should hire a ghostwriter to be involved in the project. Is there good guidance on when you do that and when you shouldn't do that? I know it costs a lot of money, but when is that investment worthwhile? What's your recommendation?
This is a very important question for any author to consider, whether or not you've seriously thought about hiring a ghostwriter or not. Now, it's important to remember that even though a book might have a single author's name on the cover, it's often the product of a team's hard work, from editors to cover designers and the ghostwriters that may or may not be brought in. But each person plays a crucial role in bringing the book from an idea into a high quality published manuscript. So I want to approach this from 2 different angles. First is when you should consider hiring a ghostwriter and signs that may indicate that you really might need one. So why consider a ghostwriter? If you're thinking about bringing a ghostwriter on board, it's really crucial to understand your why as the author. The process of hiring a ghostwriter can vary widely in terms of the time, effort, costs, and expectations that they invest. A common misconception is that people hire ghostwriters purely to write. While this is part of what a ghostwriter does, it's not necessarily the whole story of what they can offer or do. So what you need to consider before hiring a ghostwriter is how far along is your book? Do you have a well thought out idea of what your book is going to be about? A ghostwriter is going to ask you lots of questions that will help them grasp the concept and the ideas of the book so they can translate it into your voice and translate the knowledge that you have into something that's not just readable, but also enjoyable for your audience. So a ghostwriter, if you don't have the ideas fully thought out yet, can help you develop your idea further and act as a sounding board, ideation partner, or I like to call it a brain buddy. But this, keep in mind, often requires more time and investment for the ghostwriter. They will be able to assist you in organizing your thoughts into a well-structured book, an outline or chapter, and ensure that what you have as a vision comes to life on the page. So in hiring a ghostwriter, here are 3 different roles that they can play. First, idea development. A ghostwriter can help you refine and expand your book and serve as your ideation partner or brain buddy. Second, the actual writing. Through interviews, the ghostwriter will take what they've learned and the questions they've asked you and turn it into an actual writing that you'll review. You don't have to necessarily be involved in the actual writing. Third, developmental editing. In the role as being a developmental editor, the ghostwriter can provide the feedback on your written content. When considering each of these 3 options or roles, the cost and timeline involved with a ghostwriter will depend on how much of the work you want them to take on. The more work they do, the higher the cost will likely be, but it could also mean a faster timeline in getting your book done and published. If you prefer to do more of the writing yourself, the timeline might extend, but the cost could be lower. Now, jumping into the second part, here's some signs that you might need a ghostwriter. If you're struggling to find the time to write something that is timely for your readers and you want to be one of the first to get it out there, it might be time to sign a ghostwriter. Not every author is a naturally gifted writer. If you've been receiving feedback that your writing isn't compelling or clear, or if you're finding it difficult to produce high quality writing, a ghostwriter could help you elevate your manuscript to the next level. Plus, working closely with a ghostwriter could also improve your own writing skills. So wrapping this up, when considering whether or not to hire a ghostwriter, it's crucial to have a clear understanding of what you expect from them, what areas you need help with, and how a ghostwriter fits into the scope of your project and the long-term impact of it. If a ghostwriter can help you achieve your goals faster and with better quality, it might be worth the investment. So sit down today and decide, what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses as an author? And what could a ghostwriter help me improve? Thanks for listening today, and go out there, dust off your manuscript, and turn it into a bestseller that grows your business.